Morris Chang and Terry Guo may be the best-known tech bosses in Taiwan, but as the AI boom takes shape globally, other local major tech companies and their chiefs are getting renewed attention from investors. Well, CNA's Victoria Jen takes a look at 5 movers and shakers in Taiwan's tech industry.
C.C. Wei has been with TSMC for 26 years. He's instrumental in building the company's dominance in cutting-edge process technologies. With TSMC's pole position as a supplier of AI chips to companies such as NVIDIA and AMD, Mr. Wei is arguably one of the most important tech chiefs in the world. A fun fact about Mr. Wei, he often responds to reporter questions with a simple yes or no answer. And people close to him said that is the straight-shooter CEO's strategy to avoid from making any off-the-cuff remarks. Rick Tsai is considered to be the most influential tech boss in Taiwan, just behind TSMC's C.C. Wei and Foxconn's Terry Guo. Between 1989 and 2014, Mr. Tsai worked at TSMC, where he was president and chief executive officer between 2005 and 2009. Mr. Tsai joined MediaTek as CEO in 2017 and built the company to be the world's top 5 largest fabless semiconductor company, with Xiaomi, Oppo, and Vivo on his customer list. Barry Lam founded Quanta in 1988 and has been the chairman since. Quanta is today the world's largest contract manufacturer of laptops by sales volume. He's also the richest man in Taiwan. Quanta supplies high-powered servers for AI computations, and the company said it predicts AI server sales to double and will account for more than 50% of its server revenue this year. Johnny Shi has served as the chairman of ASUS since 1993, and until 2007, he also served as a chief executive officer. Under his leadership, ASUS today is the world's top motherboard maker by sales and number 5 consumer notebook maker. It's one of the leading computer manufacturers in making AI PCs, and that makes its business sexy again in the eyes of investors amid the AI boom. T.H. Tung co-founded ASUS in 1989. In 2008, ASUS was officially split into 3 companies, including Pegatron. Mr. Tung became Pegatron chairman and CEO. He built the company into the world's 2nd largest contract electronics maker, behind just Foxconn. The company recently caught eyeballs with its digital twin factory solution, which was built using the NVIDIA Omniverse platform with its self-developed PEGAAI platform.
For more analysis, Eric Kwong joins us. He is Vice President of DigiTimes. And we also have with us CNA's Victoria Jen. Warm welcome to you both. Let's start with you first. Eric, some people have this impression, whether it's right or wrong, that Taiwan's tech industry had been rather dormant for the past 10 years until the recent AI boom. Just want to know what's your take on this and what's driving this perception.
Okay, I think this impression is both right and wrong. On the one hand, besides ASUS and Acer, we don't have globally well-known electronic brands. So our tech industry is mainly behind the tech product brands to provide design and manufacturing services and electronic components. So mass media seldom publish Taiwanese companies' news. This situation was getting worse when China became both the world's workshop and the world's largest market. Media and the governments around the world have a kind of Sinomania. Taiwanese industry become invisible. But on the other hand, since the 90s, Taiwanese tech companies moved their factories to China. They continually significantly to China export, contribute to China's export and economic development. our ENS companies such as Foxconn, Quanta, Pegatron, as you mentioned, are the top 10 exporter in China for many years. Their scale and the revenue kept increase in 2010s and became the top EMS companies in the world. Also, in 2010s, TSMC became the technology leader. One example is that Apple used to have both TSMC and Samsung to provide foundry service for its iPhone chips. Since 2016, iPhone 7 generation, TSMC became the solo foundry partner for Apple. And our semiconductor industry continuously maintain #1 position in foundry and the OSAT sector, and the #2 position in fabless sector. I think our tech industry wasn't dormant, but only after the US-China trade war and the COVID-19, the value and the importance of our tech industry refound by the world.
And it's true. I mean, the scale and the revenue that TSMC and these other tech firms churn out is really very, very impressive. Victoria, tell us more about the kind of role that the government actually played in Taiwan's technology development.
Well, Taiwan's government under the KMT played a crucial role in Taiwan's technology development. Back in the late 1970s, the government established the Hsinchu Science Park, which now housed hundreds of technology companies. And also back in 1987, the government helped build the TSMC, which is now the world's largest contract chip maker. And so at the same time, back then, the government has provided subsidies, which is about a quarter of its R&D expenditures to technology industry. And most of the money actually back then went to nonprofit research institutes. But later in 1996, the government induced the private sectors into R&D projects. So that has shifted the technology development from the government to the private sector. And so now with the government taking a more supporting role instead. Yeah, Eric, there's this hype that Taiwan will play a major role as AI takes off, and that the island could be an AI hub and globally. And now, in your point of view, how big is the role that Taiwan will play, and in what areas?
Okay, I think we already play a major role as AI takes off. Since 2010s. We have played a significant role in providing data center hardware solutions, including servers, storage, switches, and power supplies, etc. We directly supply our solutions to the cloud service providers. Now, if you look at the generative AI ecosystem, the most critical hardware are AI chips and AI servers, to let OpenAI and the cloud service providers train the best foundation AI models. TSMC provides advanced wafer fabrication and packaging services to AI chip companies like NVIDIA, AMD, Intel, and Google. Taiwanese ODM EMS companies such as Foxconn and Quanta co-work with NVIDIA and other AI chip companies to design the most advanced AI servers, finish the manufacturing job, and then ship to the cloud service providers like Microsoft, AWS, and Google, and the server brands like Dell and HP. Besides TSMC and the ODM EMS companies, we also have the world's most competitive AI server supply chain to support NVIDIA and cloud service providers like such as power supply, heatsink, PCB, connector, and passive components, etc.
So yeah, Eric, as you've mentioned that it's again very impressive that you've got the world's most competitive AI supply chain. But what then are the weaknesses, the areas that some of these firms or some of these chips that the AI companies need to work on to make sure they stay at the forefront as the competition heats up?
Okay, I think the most critical issue is geopolitical risk. After the US-China trade war and the COVID-19, tech companies adopt the China Plus One policy. Customers want non-Chinese suppliers and non-China factories, which is good for Taiwanese companies. However, for the past 2 years, China has launched many cross-Taiwan strait military exercises, and the tensions between China and Taiwan have increased. Many customers now have a Taiwan Plus One policy. They still want to co-work with Taiwanese suppliers, but they want to have non-China factories. Last month, Vanguard International Semiconductor Corporation and the NXP just announced a joint venture fab in Singapore. It is the latest movement for major Taiwanese foundries. Besides this announcement, TSMC built new fabs in Japan, USA, and Germany. UNC built new fab in Singapore, and PSMC built new fab in Japan. We also have some infrastructure problems, such as talent shortages and power shortages. Maybe we can discuss later.
We can certainly discuss that in a short while, but I just want to get to Vic, and I want to ask you, Vic, about how these major power blackouts that Taiwan did experience in the past 7 years. I mean, it has raised some concerns among the technology companies, whether Taiwan has sufficient power supply to cope with this AI boom. So help us understand, how serious is this situation?
Well, there have been reports about power shortage recently across Taiwan, especially now the high usage of electricity during the summer period. At the same time that the DPP government, they plan to do away with nuclear power by replacing it with green energy by 2025. But so far, its goal has failed to meet with its target. So this is raising concerns about power shortage. But the economic minister has reassured the public that there will be sufficient energy until 2030. But that is still remains, many people remain skeptical because after all, this, especially more than 97% of Taiwan's energy needs are imported. And so that is, any disruption is going to lead to power shortage. And now, and technology industry requires the most power. Now, TSMC, for example, it uses up to 8% of Taiwan's total electricity a year. And that is equivalent to the power usage of the Taipei city, the entire Taipei city. So you can imagine how much power that TSMC needs to use. And the ratio is expected to double next year. So with the AI boom, it's expected to, the demand is expected to further increase. So there is definitely this need for steady supply of energy for the technology industries, not only for Taiwan, but as well as the rest of the world. Eric, will China become a major competitor to Taiwan or a partner in the AI development? And how can they navigate the U.S.-China rivalry, given that technology is such a sensitive issue?
Okay. I think actually there is less competition between Taiwanese industry and the Chinese industry because the supply chain became decoupled after the China-US trade war, established especially for data security-related products. AI servers and the whole data center solutions are the most critical items. So US customers, which is the major customers in terms of a global market, such as Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Meta, HP, and Dell, only co-work with Taiwanese supply chain because this issue. For Chinese customers, since the Chinese government wants to build a wholly independent and controllable supply chain locally, we Taiwanese companies only have short-term market opportunities. Thus, Chinese market will not be our primary focus. I think the major focus will be on the market beyond China.
Well, thanks so very much, Eric Kwong, for your insights. Eric Kwong from DigiTimes, and as always, CNA's Victoria Jen. Thanks for speaking to us.